These talks on these are probably my favorite talks over didactic lectures and so forth. So I always think of it as a privilege to be able to give these because it's sort of a confluence of, I'd say, contrition and confession, and when you have the opportunity to sort of think through points that you like to make. And I think the biggest thing is when you're given the privilege or responsibility to give a talk for anything, you just don't want to waste people's time in the audience. That's what I often think about. Time is pretty precious. So I always modify this when I give it, and I often get asked to give a talk like this more than anything else just because of, I guess, some of Joe's comments. But I think we're all becoming experts at this given some of the things we've learned over the years, and we can learn from each other. One of the things that, for me, is particularly helpful is to go back and look at pictures from the past, and I think pictures tell a good story. I mean, besides that being super pixelated and an awful picture, I look back to, sometimes you go through your iPhone, you go back to old pictures and so forth, and you see how you looked years before and how you look and feel now. And I can tell you, that picture on the left, I was clearly out of balance at that time, right? And that's 16 years later, and it's not anything other than the fact that I think I learned to sort of reprioritize things. That was a time when I was not far into my practice, where I was working incessantly and sort of getting into a deep hole of commitments, and to dig out over the next 10 to 15 years took a lot of self-awareness. So some of this I'll just share with you and be very personal along the way. One aspect I think that's particularly important is that people talk about balance and the fragility of aspects of our life and so forth, and work, I think, is a little like a ball. You drop it, it bounces back, you can kind of figure it out. Think of all the trials and tribulations that each of us have in the work setting.